And for today's live, we just want to discuss don't be a fucking nice person, man. Because look, the world is not a very positive place. The world in general is a very negative place. Not on meaning to say like the world is negative, the world is, yeah, like there's negative people, there's bad people out there, but it's all about just being able to intentions, right? And if a person's character, if a person's morality is set upon being nice to people, like overly catering to the needs and wants of others, look, you gotta look at it this way, right? Because whenever a person is catering to the needs of other people and they're overly doing it, that's what it means to be a nice guy. And here's the thing, right? If an individual is constantly catering to the needs and wants of other people, the other people that are like, receiving the energies from this person, like they're willing to cater to them and shit, they're gonna be coming up with thoughts and feelings about, okay, how else can I use this person? Especially if you're like setting up that relationship based upon terms that are not actually even beneficial for you, that are just coming from being overly nice and just trying to cater to other people way too much. See, people get lost in this like nice guy energy, this nice girl energy where they don't want to necessarily like ruffle feathers. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to ruffle the feathers of other people, meaning like they don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. They don't want to create some type of discomfort. It's like this environment where they want to make everything that's being done to them okay, and okay for other people to take advantage of them, which is just fucking stupid if you think about it, right? Right? Like, why would a person allow themselves to be taken advantage of if they was not even in the right mental space, right, healthy space, right? Because the only reason or the only way someone would allow themselves to be because they might not really understand how life works or the consequences of what they're doing, right? Because essentially, when you're being too nice to people, you're always going to be enabling other people to develop thoughts and feelings about behaviors that can evolve into like things, right? So when we're overly catering to people, it's like we're really just creating an individual that's going to go into extremes to get some form of desire based upon you catering to them in the first place, right? Because that's why it's really not at all to be what's it called, Mr. Nice Guy. And when you get out of that for the first time, first, second, third, fourth, you're gonna see that your life is actually getting better because you're actually drawing clear boundaries of how this relationship is gonna go. You don't create those lines, those boundaries yourself, and you don't already have a pre-established idea of what is a healthy boundary. The boundary that people create might just be some shit that's too open to other people to the point that they get taken advantage of. Because here's the thing, right? People set up these definitions of, oh, you should be in person, oh, be a nice guy or be a nice girl and stuff like that. But if you're coming at life from that perspective itself is going to get you into a bunch of circumstances, situations with people and shit that ain't really got nothing to do with you just because your space and boundary was just way too open. And that's why it's really important to have healthy boundaries, to really just you gotta be willing to make other people feel uncomfortable. You gotta be able to make other people feel discomfort around you, because if everyone is comfortable around you, then it's like something is not right. Because you should have a level of confidence, you should have a certain level of arrogance where people around you are automatically uncomfortable or like uncertain around you. Like, you don't want to create this space for other people to be so fucking comfortable around you, like you're a walking fucking couch. You gotta be willing to cause a certain level of discomfort and then comfort around other people, right? That's like drawing up a space, that's like drawing up a boundary. But like, people are just always catering to other people all the time. Like, people got that like nice guy behavior, that nice girl behavior. That's just a person that's getting ready to create a circumstance situation to allow people to come into your life and want you for stuff that ain't even got anything to do with you, and all just comes from this not having a healthy boundary. Wherever a person actually had a healthy boundary, they wouldn't necessarily even be going with all of that. Or a person may think in their head like, oh, if I cater to this person, that's what it means to have friends and shit like that. But now, what it means to have friends is to have people that have the same interests and have similar, goals and ambitions as you. People that are on the same standard of operating systems and stuff like that. And that's the thing. A lot of the times, people are going to go through this character development where they're going to realize, damn, well, just because because here's the thing, right? A lot of the first people we meet is shadow government orchestrated circumstances. So what I mean by that is, like, it's gonna be at schools, it's gonna be at like the soccer club, some shit like that. The thing though, right? A lot of the times these people, they're just bored, don't know what to do type of shit. So it's like that's when you created like a conglomerate or a congratulation, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, just a group of people that associate with each other, but based upon the wrong starting points. And that's fine though, you know, you grow up, whatever like that. Like, that's why a lot of times when you graduate from high school, a lot of people in high school are gonna let you know, hey, like, you're probably not gonna be friends with the same people that are, you know, age group. You're not no longer gonna associate with the same people that you was associating with in high school, because you're gonna grow out of that, because you're still learning about yourself. You're still knowing about yourself and stuff like that. Learning more about your needs and wants, and those things are gonna change as you grow up, things like that. And then that might call for you to no longer even associate with the same people you was associated with in the first place and shit like that. So you might have to go start to do or accumulate awareness, your space in a whole other place, you know? That's where you meet new people, blah, blah, on that same standard. But here's the thing, right? That's the whole point of this video, right? If someone is operating based upon the standard and the pretense that, hey, I gotta be everybody, I gotta cater to everybody, I gotta love everybody, then you're just gonna create all these responsibilities, all these really unwanted responsibilities, because it's not gonna be something that you really want to do or need to do. It's just gonna be something that maybe you jump into just based upon thinking like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be creating comfortable circumstances for me and my friends. But here's the thing, if your friends are on the same directional path as you, then like you might not even want to call them friends in the first place, because the only reason you guys met, and it's usually just due to some, like, you know, government circumstances, like friends at school, blah blah, and all that is cool, but you grow out of these things. Like, we got shoes at home as kids, we grow out of these shoes for a reason, because there's a next stage that we need to delve into and stuff like that, right? And like just sitting around, like being a follower, creating this environment of comfort for you and people and shit like that, that's not gonna create any form of growth, because any growth comes from being uncomfortable. Growth never comes from comfort and shit like that, right? So it's the thing, man. It's like, don't be a nice person. There's no time for that. It's like, be passionate, be aggressive about the shit that you actually fucking want to like, because no one's gonna give you what you want. Is like, you know what I'm saying? You have to carve that path out for yourself. Like, your employer might tell you some shit like, look, I need you to stay here till 5 o'clock, and that's a narrative that they're gonna set forth. But if you create your own narrative, then you're gonna be stuck in someone else's narrative, someone else's like script. You want to be the person that's creating your own script, not the person that's, you know, getting lost in other people's script, other people's narratives. Because the moment we let someone else create a script for us, and we apply that script, or live life by that script, then that's like giving other people way too much power than they have. Because it's like all co-creating a reality together. But it just takes a person to participate in the reality that they say they want to experience and shit like that, right? Otherwise, we're always going to be susceptible to these patterns and shit like that came from our childhood, and being stuck in those patterns. You know, these patterns may be patterns that are generating experiences, taking us to people, making us do things that are not necessarily aligned with what we may view as our highest possible good or an ideal life, right? A lot of these patterns that we accumulate were just habits that we have from childhood and shit like that, you know, shit our mother and parents, blah, blah, depending on the environment you grew up in. Maybe like just habits and, you know, and shit like that of a person that doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like for example, when I look at the environment in church, motherfuckers get together, like get super high on some I Jesus type of shit, but it's comfort at the end of the day. Like, that's not producing discomfort. Like, that's just a bunch of people getting together and catering to something outside of them, thinking that they're gonna be loved and appreciated and valued. An external variable by the, let's say, you know what I'm saying, the Catholic institutions and shit like that, right? But that's just like being nice to someone else's institution. That's like an external governance and stuff like that, right? And then you will always be externally governed if, you know, you don't have the ability to govern yourself. And that's the thing, man. People don't want to govern themselves. People want to be governed by external institutions and shit like that, right? And it takes virtue, it takes character to actually like govern yourself, right? And that's one of the reasons why I have like a lot of respect for the government, shit like that, to a certain degree though, because I don't fuck with the government. But the thing is, like, when you look at the average person's life, like, let's say like, you know, let's say fucking homeless people, it's like if a person can't go to the street and they stay in the street due to a habit, then that person is going to need some form of external institution to organize their life for them, because they can't organize. That's the thing, like, most people can't organize their life. Most people live like a dysfunctional life. Like, most citizens in society live a dysfunctional life and shit like that, right? Because if people were actually living a functional life, then you wouldn't have this like mad homelessness rate. And you can say the government creates those situations with their policies, and a lot of times they do. But that's the thing though, right? For your government to do that without you being aware of what policies are being implemented, that shows that the people themselves are distracted and just lost into shit. Like, just distractions. Like when you sit there watch Family Guy all day, when you sit there watch all these different TV programs all day, right? It's like, that's just distractions, like constantly lost in the news media, the feed of fear. Oh, this happened today in Israel, this happened today in Iraq, or this happened today in Palestine. That's the thing though. It's like the average person doesn't have power to do anything about those things. So the only thing you could really do is just care of your everyday shit and develop your character so you could be eventually in a position to take on those things that, you know, maybe perceived as like, you know, impossible or you shouldn't do and stuff like that. Like real fucking stuff. It's like people like to sit back and be subservient to these external programs and shit like that. Because really, like at some point, politics just becomes like a form of entertainment. At some point, like people don't watch politics because they give a fuck about the world. People watch politics, they want to be entertained because they want to be fucking bored. Like the average person can't do anything about the no fucking wars or nothing. So the average person is just watching news to be entertained, and really like they're addicted to that feedback of motherfucking stress. So when they sit back and watch the news, they're really addicted to that stress that they're getting, that worry. And that's a crazy thing for a person to be addicted to stress, worry, fear. But the moment you start to build a relationship with these things, the moment it's going to become normal in your fucking life. And you got a lot of people developing disease, health problems, all types of shit, just because they're choosing to feed their awareness, their observer, in a direction that is not non-benevolent for them. And that's like, weird. Like that's like a person doing self-defeating shit. Yeah, peace. What's up awareness? So it becomes fucking problematic when we have a humanity that's doing self-defeating activities. Because a tiger doesn't sit there and do fucking self-defeating shit. A tiger doesn't sit there and do some self-defeating shit. The only species that does self shit is fucking humanity. Animals don't do that. Bugs don't do that. Only animals do. Only fucking humans do self-defeating shit. Know what I'm saying? So if you got a species that's wiping itself out just due to its own behaviors, like when you got a person being too nice to their government and shit like that, self-defeating behavior. Because how is that helping you? How is me being subservient to the United States government or being subservient to the Canadian government? Being subservient to a form of institution doesn't even make my living standard better. That is fucking stupid. So the moment a person is being too nice to a person outside and they're not adding value to your life, and you're allowing them to efficiently and basically drain value from you for free, you have to look in the mirror and realize, God damn it, I might be a little fucking stupid. Because you can't let someone else take more value from you with you getting less of that value over time and calling yourself a sovereign free citizen. At that point, it's like a person just lost all merit points of what it means to be a sovereign. A sovereign is someone who decides the standards of their life and lives life based on their own standards, not based upon some external formulated standard. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing about being a spirit. That's the thing about being a man, is that you gotta create your own standard, and even if other people say no to it, you gotta push forward for it. Because that's where that Mars root chakra energy becomes powerful, right? Because a lot of people are scared of going to war. A lot of people are scared of like being aggressive and being passionate and transform, right? Because of this fucking Mr. Nice Guy bullshit. Like, oh, I gotta be nice to everybody. I gotta love everybody. That's bullshit. You gotta be willing to go to war sometimes. You gotta be willing to fucking explode on motherfuckers. And it's not like you're exploding on motherfuckers. You're really just what's yours. You're taking what's yours. If you can't be passionate and aggressive about some shit, you can't take what's yours, you're forever gonna sit back and be living on someone else's shit thing. Someone is willing to take your shit. Someone is willing to do all that. Yeah, if you're married, someone is willing to take your fucking wife. If you're a dude and you got money in your pocket and you're walking down the street, someone is willing to fucking take your shit. And that's the thing. People are being too fucking nice. And I'm not saying go do that, go hurt people. Nah, I'm not for that. I'm never for that. We would never have to do that if this government, us needing to hurt and rob from each other because they're taking away all monetary value that we have available for us in society, that quite frankly God free. So we got natural law, then we got fucking human man-made law. All laws in the fucking public governing space, right, are all just man-made, and it does not apply like a divine natural law. Because water is a natural right. You can't tell me I gotta pay for water other than like maybe the piping system that someone else has built. And there's nothing wrong with bartering and gain, there's nothing wrong with exchanging services. But the moment that humans become too fucking subservient, too fucking cheaply, and they start like letting someone else take too much value from their life or person, man, listen, it could be an institution from outside of you. That's being a fucking nice guy fucking hurts, man. It doesn't just hurt you, it hurts everybody around you too and shit like that. Because that's not, because as a man, then you can't protect your family, you can't protect your, you can't do those things if you're being too fucking subservient. And you have so many forms of conveniences in society that it's allowing people to be subservient and shit like that. Man, it's crazy. Because it's all about the Venus energy, right? Like when you look at Pisces, when you look at like, what's it called? Taurus is a little better. But when you look at Pisces, they get so comfortable in like a dream, fantasy, and illusion, right? And it's like we're letting another group of people give us this dream, fantasy, and illusion that really has nothing to do with us. Like, man, that's crazy, bro. Man, the moment like people to donate money to the government and shit like that, how can we let ourselves as a people get gaslit into donating money to the fucking government? They the motherfuckers printing the money. You can't ask me to give you money when you the motherfucker that supposed to be producing money, producing the country's GDP and all that shit. That's just fucking wild. I don't understand it, but all that come from this Mr. Nice Guy bullshit. That's why when I stopped being a fucking nice guy, my life fucking improved dramatically because I no longer gave a fuck about how other people felt. I no longer gave a fuck about other people's comfort zones. I was willing to step on motherfuckers' toes, because you gotta understand, motherfuckers that's, you know, basically like when you step on motherfuckers' toes, it's like some people don't even have the character to step back. Some people just allow that shit to happen to them. And if you're allowing that shit to happen to you, you gotta look in the mirror and be like, damn, that's my fucking fault. Because I'm folding and I'm fucking yielding. You can't let yourself fucking yield under pressure. You gotta fucking force yourself through fucking pressure. Because here's the thing, right? About the alchemy of Mars, about fucking the root chakra. The root chakra, the Mars energy, it creates fucking pressure transmutation, even for fucking metal. Think about when metal is really hot. It starts to change its shape and form. Now, we do that with our mind. When you apply pressure to somebody, you're telling them, either you're gonna fold and change, or I'm gonna fold and change. It's like that. It's like that. It's that. So you gotta be willing to apply the pressure, and you can't apply no pressure if you're just being a nice guy and you like to be comfortable in life and shit like that, because that's not gonna, you ain't no way you're gonna apply no pressure like that, being Mr. Nice Guy. At that point, once you're in Mr. Nice Guy, man, you wanna love everybody, you wanna hug the trees, you wanna save the whales, man, and walking on the ground, you wanna save it, man. Look, nobody got time for that, okay? You gotta be willing to make other motherfuckers uncomfortable. And here's the thing, it might look bad at first, but I'm telling you right now, that's heaven. That's where you want to be at. The moment you can apply pressure on motherfuckers, that's where you want to be at, really. Because think about it. The motherfuckers that are gangsters, mobsters, these are the motherfuckers that run the world. Even if you don't run a government as some type of like, because that's the government be fronting, okay? The government is fronting all the time, putting up a front, like, hey guys, we're nice, we want to help everybody. But you could see every day the government is fucking robbing you and shit like that, right? And the motherfuckers in the government, they're harder gangsters motherfuckers in the streets. That's what you gotta understand. For a motherfucker to smile at you and rob you behind closed doors, that's a fucking hard gangster and shit like that, bro. So the government is made up of gangsters and shit like that on an intelligence level. On the intelligence agency level, that's they beginning. That's where these presidents, these prime ministers beginning the orders to fucking do you the way they do. Because here's the thing, they gotta study your behavior first, right? If we have a people that are not subservient to the government, we're gonna understand that behavior before we apply ourselves that situation, right? So they gotta sit back and create ways for you to be subservient. Like look at the fluoride, for example, in the water. Fucks with your mind to some degree. Everything they do is a psychological operation to fuck with your mind to some type of way. So they gotta make sure that they first create a subservient group of people. Like look at the men today, for example, right? You get a bunch of men with plastic in their balls. You get a bunch of men with barely produce any fucking testosterone. They're leading towards the feminine side. They can no longer fight back and do fucking nothing, right? But what does that do? That makes it easier for the government to motherfucking rob them blind, to create, operations where they'll get blindsided and shit like that. Because for me to be a sleazy salesperson, I gotta be able to like put things in such words. I gotta hide things and shit like that from you. I gotta be able to trick them. You're dealing with Loki the trickster. The government plays out that archetype of being a fucking trickster. So the nature of the government is a bunch of fucking tricksters. Is a bunch of manipulators, a bunch of liars. It's their nature to do that. See, they can't come out, they can't tell you the truth. They can't come out and tell you like They don't have no charismatic gifts, so they have to come out and lie to you. Susceptible narratives create destruction, like create like hurricanes and lightning storms and all that. Like a lot of the shit, the weather we be experiencing just be like government made and shit. But they have to do all that because they have to distract you. They have to like get your attention on stuff. They have to stress you out. They have to worry you. They have to drain you. Because if you would take your attention and your energy and create a constructive solution to take them, see, they don't want that shit. They don't want someone sitting back creating a constructive solution and aiming that at them. They would rather you be destructive, destroy yourself, and destroy your family at the process, because at that point you're just doing their job for them. So they can't have you being fucking powerful, you know what I'm saying? Like they can't have you being like fucking Jesus Christ and going to war with they shit, because ain't no motherfucker fucking with Jesus Christ with that Christ disposition, you know? Said it never pays to be nice, saying hi to everyone is not respect. Yeah, real fucking shit. Like these motherfuckers out there that be saying hi to everybody, want to be acknowledged by everybody. That shit's stupid. That shit's a waste of time. Like, nah, have some self-respect. In fact, yeah, you shouldn't say hi to everybody. Like me, I barely say hi to anybody, to tell you the truth. But yeah, man, that's fucking all I have for today. It's morning out here, so I'm about to get back to work and shit like that. But I thought I'd go live real quick. Come on here. All right, peace out, everybody.